Scorpio, hi, how are you? Come on in just in time for your Scorpio February 2020 reading. Great to see you. A couple of announcements to make. The first one is, many people ask me, do I do private readings? I've set some time aside now from other things that I do, and the answer is yes. And if you look in the description box below, you'll see my email address and just send me an email and we can go from there. Finally, the other thing is that many people ask me, what is the artwork that's behind me? Well, it's this. And there you go. So if you were curious, that's what it's about, which is quite descriptive of what I do, I suppose. Now, I'm going to go into 3 different spiritual realms for your messages this month. The first one that's coming through is from this realm, and it is that of leadership. I'm going to look at, and what's very important is that you look at the images when we just quickly address that card, because that will be absorbed by your psyche. I'm going to take 3 playing cards and I'll give you the meaning of those at the end of the Tarot section, and they will tell you what some more specific and guided information. The 6 of Hearts, the Queen of Spades, and what's this? The King of Hearts. Now for the Tarot, we'll take 5, as is our normal custom. We may go through these probably quicker than we normally do. I've just got the feeling that it's going to be quite mystical, so the language that I use may well be different to that which I normally use. For those of you who drop by often, and particularly my subscribers, hi, good to see you. Okay, let's get them underway, shall we, and see what they are. They are these, the Hierophant. What is it about the Hierophant for you? The 9 of Feathers. God, this artwork is just gorgeous. The 5 of Flames. The Ace of Feathers. And the 4 of Flames. Okay, why don't we look at all these great cards together and I'll tell you what they mean. All right, my beloved Scorpio, let's see what there is in store for you this month. Now, listen, this is something which is of importance to you. I think you are being called upon to show leadership in something, and the reason is it because others are looking to you to provide that leadership. Now, you will know what that applies to. I think what this is asking you to do, and let this image sink into your subconscious, sleep on it and let it work on your spirit overnight, and you'll come out tomorrow morning and know what you need to do. This energy is saying you have been chosen to step up and to show the way forward. It might be that you should then be considering what are the ethical ways in which you can show leadership. But you'll know what that means for you. Now, I'm looking at these here and I see an Ace of Feathers and a 9 of Feathers. I'm going to deal with this Ace first, because it clearly comes before the 9, doesn't it? What we have here is, I think, for you, mental clarity and being one. Now, this peacock's feather represents the iridescent nature of your thoughts. It symbolizes immortality, royal dignity, and vigilance. Now, an imagined, but in reality non-existent, segment of a circle was drawn with a sharp sword of your intellect. The mind mirrors the manifold qualities of the world of thought. Sharp, crystalline, analytical, subtle, and extremely sensitive thought vibrations are what I see for you. Direct your attention to your breathing in and you're breathing out, and realize that the limit of yourself is not really real. Notice that you are becoming one with infinite space. Now, I think that the people who are going to be important to you during this period and are going to be around are Aquarius, Capricorn, Pisces. Yeah, this suit of feathers can always be complicated because it is the result of the suits of fire and water. And when you put fire and water together, you get what? You get some problems, don't you? But I think that this is really a period of great insight and clarity for you. I think there is a period here where you will have a sort of a eureka moment, and your achievement of goals is going to become much easier. You will have a new perspective on life that was previously unclear, so you can cut through to the heart of the matter. And I have a feeling it's something to do with this, and I'll get to this in just a moment. I think you are going to have a moment of breakthrough and a new perspective. You will gain a new vision and will pursue opportunities which draw upon your creative and your mental abilities. I think that this is also saying that you may well be being called to stand up for the rights of others. Well, isn't that what leadership is all about? And I think that that's the energy that's coming up here. Or even standing up for yourself. But that's also leadership, isn't it? You will gain new insight and inspiration. It's as if you come out of the clouds of confusion and doubt into a position of clarity. Well, it is all blue skies for you, so forge ahead. Now, let's have a look at this card, which is saying what to you? The Nine of Feathers. Well, the feathers, of course, is all to do with the mind and with your thoughts, but I'd remind you that the 9 is a very sacred number. Sort of the feeling, the mystical feelings that I'm getting from this are killing by not acknowledging. Feel the pain of rejection, expulsion, and being abandoned. Go back to the roots of your fears and look closely. Because by looking closely, you deprive the demons, the unclean spirits of ignorance of their nourishment. They starve when you face your fears directly. Walk towards that which you reject and fear. So make a conscious decision to dive deep into your own being. Yeah, and I wonder if there's anything in the astrology that I'm getting that can add anything further to this particular. Oh yes, I'm getting the energy now of Mars in the second decan of Gemini. The one-pointed nature of Mars doesn't really sit well with the scattered energy of Gemini. You know, people who have Mars in Gemini in their birth chart really can use words as their weapons. And with the number 9 here, I have associated mystically with the number 9 the planet of the moon. And the moon develops a sort of a passivity against the onslaught of Mars, as I see in this card here, the energy that's coming through. So I think that this can actually mean for you maybe feelings of guilt and regret. And those feelings of guilt and regret, the energies which are associated with them, I think that you can sometimes turn them in on yourself. You know your Achilles heel better than anybody else. You have no defense against yourself, do you? And if so, your words can hurt you more than anybody else can ever hurt you. And I think that this is what this is saying. This, of course, has told you to that you are going to have a feeling of insight and clarity. But I think it's time for you to face your fears directly and deprive them of the oxygen they need to survive. Yeah. This is a good card for you. You know, you can, you're a very smart person, and you, more than anybody else, can see the mental damage that you cause to yourself, much more than anybody else can ever cause to you. Okay. Well, what's going to happen here? Well, this might be to do with that. Let's have a look. This Hierophant. Hello, Hierophant. Well, what can we say about the Hierophant? The Hierophant, of course, is, oh, look, for me, really one of the best cards in the deck, I think, because the Hierophant is the knower of stars, priest, shaman, initiated into the movement of the planets and the wisdom of the serpent, guarding the keys to the realm of the unconscious. The gesture of your hand shows your calling. This is the hand, the way. I'll show you. This is generally it. It's called the Way of the Enterer. That's how you can normally tell someone who's been initiated into the mystic arts. He is a person who transforms suffering into knowing, and as a result, you get to know the universe of which you are an integral part, that is looking at itself, and its breath, its very breath, heralds the triumph of your existence. I think there's a couple of other things that we can say about the Hierophant for you in this reading. The first thing is this, is that I think you will be very gifted at imparting information and inspiring others. Well, isn't that what we were talking about here? Well, you've got the great gift for it at this time. You've got the gift for it. You will be very good at listening and speaking, and I think you will want to make your ideas tangible. You see, that's what leadership is about also, isn't it? Leadership, people don't just follow people because they're there. They usually follow someone because they have something in mind. They've got something to do, and they're communicating that there's something there. I think there is a deep desire for you at this time to be challenged by new experiences. I think that you'll have a great desire for learning during this time, and I think you'll also impart knowledge to other people. There is, I think, issues surrounding your family that need to be integrated at the moment. And gee whiz, if you're not in teaching, counselling or consulting, then or the creative arts, then you really should be, because this is a great card for that. I'm thinking, what else might we say for you about it? He really is the magus of the eternal gods. That's almost your role this month, I think. Teacher, counselor, consultant. Venus is what I see in here. Venus in Taurus with the moon exalted. Well, Taurus is earth, isn't it? It's an earth sign. And it emphasizes, I think, the importance of applying your spiritual realizations in the day-to-day world. Okay. So I think that, you know, spirituality doesn't come around just by sitting in a church or anything like that. It comes around when you're loading the dishwasher, as an example. Now, we've got some flames down here. Let's take them back to front. We've got the 5 and the 4. Let's see what the 5 has to say for us. The first thing I'll say about the number 5 is this. It is, for me, it represents an area of divine emanation prior to the emergence of space and time from out of spirit, an area that has a connection with the planet of Mars, well, not with the actual physical planet, but with the energy, with the psychic energy that is attributed to the planet of Mars, certainly in the way that I look at astrology anyway. And I think that what we can say here is that therefore there should be a lot of energy associated with things that are going on in your life at the moment. What I see here is, and speaking of astrology, I see Saturn in, what I see it in? I see Saturn in Leo here. Yeah, in the first decade of Leo. Now, Saturn and Leo really tend to have a problem with one another. And that is because Leo wants to be creative and express itself, while Saturn is cold and dense and wants to set limits and come in like the headmaster and bring a lead balloon in over the top of everything. Now, this is the suit of fire. And Leo, see Saturn in Leo, Leo is a fire sign. And added to the energy of Mars, which is a fiery planet, we have a lot of energy which is kind of discordant, I think. A lot of discordant energy that's surrounding it. So I think that what we might expect is that there'll be a period there where you may well find that you are in the, well, I'd say the middle of a conflict. Yeah, a fight. Could be arguments, tensions, fighting. Could be competition with other people, and this is kind of impacting upon you. It's impacting upon you. It's having an emotional effect. Even though this is suits, there is an emotional effect that's coming in here. You see, this 5 of flames, I think in this spread here, and where it's positioned, I'm getting the feeling of competition with people who have similar qualities and experiences as you have. Or in a romantic sense, it could be with people who are as good looking as you are or as attractive as you are. Excuse me, you might be in competition with somebody in that respect. You'll feel that you are in competition with somebody in that respect. Now, you may not have had to face the fire of competition before, but I tell you what, you're going to find out what it's about at this time, and in particular, you're going to find out what's necessary. But I don't think you are going to have any problem at all in dealing with anything. Now, there's a couple of other things I could say about that, but I don't think I need to say anything more. I'm going to deal with this 4, and then we'll get onto these playing cards. Here's the 4. Now, the 4 is particularly good, I think, because the astrology of it is so good. I say that because I'm getting good astrology. Why am I getting good astrology? It's because I'm getting Venus. I'm getting Venus in Aries. This is flame sign here. Venus in Aries is what I'm getting. Well, Venus in Aries, and I'm getting Venus in the 3rd decan of Aries. The time the 10th to the 19th of April. Gee, Venus in Aries, is that a problem? Well, as you know, Venus is if you know your astrology, Venus is the ruler of 2 signs, Taurus and of, hang on, I didn't show you the card. Taurus and Libra, isn't it, Venus? But I'm getting the Venus association here, because I'm getting a lot of, I'm getting the Libra association rather, because Libra is a very attractive sort of a sign, and it's a very feminine sign, I think. Now, in order for Venus to go from Libra over into Aries, it's basically, if you can imagine Venus being here and Aries being there, it's got to go all the way around to there, so it's on the opposite side of the zodiac wheel. And what we would say is that Venus is in detriment in Aries because the ruler of Aries is Mars. So you've got Venus coming in together with Mars. That's a problem, you would think, wouldn't you? Because Venus is also in detriment. And you have Mars, which is rambunctious and, well, deranged very often, and just one-pointed and fiery and just pushes forward, whereas Venus is about love and relationships, beauty and harmony. Now, we might think that Mars is just going to destroy Venus, but actually I think what Venus does is she exercises some of her womanly charms on Mars and settles him down, tames the beast. She tames the beast, and we may even see some opposites attract action going on. There may be somebody that you have not looked at before who now you are looking at and you're saying that, oh, I didn't see that before. Or there may be some area of work that you've said, look, I've got no interest in doing anything like that, and then you find that you are doing it and you go, actually, I quite enjoy doing this. Or there may be some hobby or pursuit out there in your social life that you just say, I haven't tried this before, I've never had much of an interest, but now I do, and I find it really good. So I think that these are the things that you're going to see happening to you in this month. I think what this is also saying is that there is Venus in Aries. You might have an emotional, that is Venus, desire to move in some new direction, which is Aries. So I'm thinking that's the type of thing that's there. I also get the feeling coming up from here is that you've got things that you need to complete. There are things that you need to finish off. Some stuff that you need to finish off here, whether they're relationships or things to do with work or getting things tidied up. Do you have to get expenses put in? Do you have to do taxes? Get them finished. This is saying there are things to be completed because you've got things to move on to and to do. So that's really what that card is saying to you. It's quite straightforward. I wish I could say there was something far more esoteric and mystical associated with it, but sometimes these messages come through and they're quite blunt. Now, let's have a look at these, shall we? And see what they have to say for you. And let's look first at this one, which is the Six of Hearts. Now, of course, if I were doing a reading for you, these cards just become a window, a personal reading for you. These cards are just windows which allow in psychic energy into me because my readings are clairvoyant. But this card here for you, I think at the moment, says that, well, as a six, it is for me about transitions, leaving the past behind, new things to do, new things being untaken. When you're leaving the past behind, make sure that those things have been tied off properly, that they've been completed properly. I think I'm getting a couple of other things here. It represents bringing peace and harmony into everyday issues, represents compromising and the willingness for you to accommodate others. Now, I think a new relationship can begin when this card appears, if that's of any interest to you. It's certainly a time to overcome obstacles, and you will be overcoming obstacles and moving towards a goal. I think people may want to confide in you, during this period. But be careful of people taking advantage of your good heart. And I think that this also represents actually a period of sudden and unexpected good luck. Now, can I get in any closer to her? There she is. Well, doesn't she look like a lovely woman? Well, she's not. She's not a lovely woman, I don't think, today, for you. I think she's like the Black Widow, the spider, the Black Widow. Now, watch out for this woman at the moment. She's around you. She can be cruel, manipulative, and malicious, or unscrupulous is what I'm getting, because she enjoys interfering with others and poking her nose into other people's business and causing trouble for people. She's a troublemaker, this woman. Try not to get in her way or on her bad side just at the moment. Now, I think she's someone who could appear to be quite mysterious or reserved or extremely cautious is what she could do. But she's not to be trusted. And she's having a look at this guy. All right? She's looking at him, and funnily enough, he happens to be looking back at her. And this is the King of Hearts. Well, this is someone who is probably your age or a little bit older, is what I would say. He is a highly intuitive man, is what I'm getting. He won't compromise his integrity or his inner truth, but he is susceptible to feminine wiles, or he wouldn't be such a man. And this is a man in the real sense of the word. Could be could be a relative or a friend that's going to be important to you at this time, but it's someone who's actually honest and open and generous. Now, look, I'm not saying that there's anything funny going on, but I will just watch her with him. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go. It looks like it's going to be an absolutely fantastic month for you, and that's great because you deserve it. And I have to say, you were fantastic during that reading. All that remains for me to say is this, and remember it always, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, bye for now.